Kishirika Kishirisu, a name that I probably just butchered very badly, but she's extremely important in Mushoku Tensei. This little purple-haired individual, although rude, brattish, and annoying, is extremely important in the history of Mushoku Tensei and also to Rudeus himself. Now, the anime brushed over the first encounter that Rudeus had with her, but it did mull over and cut quite a lot of the content and dialogue that is extremely important. So we're going to go over that quickly, including some of the history of this character, and describe what the anime has cut out. So let's start with the anime first. So the day starts off with Rudeus getting a apparition or vision from Hitagomi, which is the human god. He was introduced in season 1, and Rudeus had a very suspicious and just uncertain feeling about this character, feeling major distrust. But after first going along with him and meeting Ruijard, he did get a lot more trust for this character, and so today he's just following what he wants him to do. As per Hitagomi's advice, he heads to a food store, gets some food, and then heads to an alleyway. Not something that seems like it's going to be extraordinary. But as we'll learn throughout the series, anything, no matter how mild it seems, that Hitagomi says has a massive implication. Now, after arriving at the alleyway, Rudeus sees a young individual lying on the floor begging for food and proceeds to give her some. After eating, she sprouts out energetically and reveals herself and thanks Rudeus. Now, Rudeus at first assumes she's just playing a little game, she's just a little demon child, and this is what they do. And honestly, that's a pretty reasonable assumption. If I was in the demon continent and there's demon people everywhere, I would just assume this is a weird little kid. But unfortunately, it's not a weird little kid. And she goes along with Rudeus in this little game that Rudeus thinks she's having, in which, to her, she's doing a very serious ritual here. And at the end of it, she gives Rudeus an eye of foresight, which, as you can see by the anime's visuals, heavily impacts his vision and ability at this point to move, engage in combat, and other things. With a little bit of training, this could end up being a huge benefit, which is very obvious from this scene alone. And that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's the anime. Rudeus is following Hitagomi's advice. He finds a purple-haired weirdo. He gets a demon eye of foresight, attacks somebody, and that's all the information we really get. But the light novel is quite different, so we'll talk about the light novel and what happens in that now. Now, in the novel, we start out with a similar set of events. Hitagomi has told Rudeus to go to a store, go to an alleyway afterwards, just some very basic instructions. And in this encounter, he does meet Kishirika once again. However, this is where the events and versions of each story differ quite a bit. Unlike the anime in which she's just begging for food, it seems like a shady individual that was probably planning to kidnap her was saying some very peculiar and concerning things. Now, Rudeus quickly recognized the situation, how dangerous it was, and what was going on, and he aptly responded. And this is something that's quite big, because in the novel, it shows how his character has grown. He can control his spells now and the amount of power that he's putting into them, which shows the focus that he's put into his training, and it also shows the growth that he's going through. However, in the anime, all of this was just completely cut, so you do not get to see how Rudeus has grown as a character and his inner dialogue on this, nor do you get to see his combat capability in this particular scene. Upon her introducing herself to Rudeus, she starts out by mentioning Lapis before she even gives her name, which is kind of odd considering she's supposed to be a little kid. She shouldn't really be talking about Lapis in a casual way, and especially not in the way of reviving 300 years later. But it doesn't trigger Rudeus's conscience. As intelligent as he is, he didn't think that that was odd. So it carries on in a similar fashion to the anime. Rudeus feeds her some of the food that he's gotten, which is obviously why Hitagomi sent Rudeus there in the first place, to grab the food. And this is where the biggest first difference comes in, with her telling Rudeus, still, your magic power quantity, it's above Laplace, you know, and that's something that is absolutely huge, because this is a confirmation from a character that has some very special eyes, as you can see, that have all sorts of effect, analyzing and detecting Rudeus's magical power and asserting that it's above Laplace, a famous historic figure. And when she introduces herself as the Great Empress of the Demon Realm, Rudeus actually says that he's heard the name before, and he goes on to explain that in the Human-Demon Great War, and this was thousands of years ago, the one who led the magic race and was easily crushed, the immortal Demon Empress. Now that's a huge historical fact right there, and mix that in with Laplace and her eye abilities and we might be talking about the real deal. Now another major contending point that is very different in the source material is that Rudeus gets a rundown of some of the eyes and how they work. So first off, they're mentioned by name. Magic power eyes, the identification eyes, the X-ray eyes, the clairvoyance eyes, foresight eyes, and absorption eyes. Now there are more apparently, but these are the ones that are pretty famous in this era or this area, I'm not really sure, but these are the ones that are well known. And we continue on to get all of them explained, so we'll go in one by one. First off, we have the magic power eyes, and these allow you to see magic power directly. So if you remember, Rudeus had his magic power analyzed and it was apparently above Laplace. So these would be good to detect how powerful an opponent is as a mage. Now these are the most popular ones apparently, and 1 in 10,000 people actually possess them, which is a crazy number. Then we have the identification eyes. Now when you look at something, it will show you the details of that object. However, there is a downside to this, and it's only if Kishirika knows about the object itself that you'll be able to get information about it. So if she doesn't know about it, you won't be able to get information. It's basically like identification in games if you've played any MMO, but it only works if she's aware of it herself. So things that have been built outside of that, you won't be able to identify. Then you have X-ray eyes. I think this is pretty self-explanatory, but the amazing part is that you can't see through living beings apparently, which is weird. So I guess you get to look through their clothes and you just get to see their body naked because, you know, you can't see... Okay, whatever, that's some anime stuff right there. And you apparently can't see through dense magical fields either. Clairvoyance. It allows you to see far away. However, it is difficult to control the focus point. So it's similar to League of Legends clairvoyance, basically. Foresight, which allows you to see a short distance into the future, and this one is also difficult to control, however she does suggest it. And absorption eyes, and they allow you to absorb magical power, but they do take your own magical power away in the process. So for Rudeus that has a very high mana capacity and nothing else, this would be a terrible pick. Now, our homeboy Rudeus gets the eyes of foresight, which is why he has all of the distorted vision. And these are pretty difficult to control, and the anime also shows this, but they also have a great combat capacity due to the fact that you can see future actions, which I guess the anime also does represent as well. Rudeus asks for 2 demon eyes in the source material. However, he is informed against this decision as it would probably lead to some pretty bad results, and this is due to the fact that Rudeus is going to have an eye patch for a little bit, coming to terms with the demon eye power that he's now gained access to, and these things are not to be taken lightheartedly. That you consume a lot of mana, specifically the clairvoyance eye, due to the fact that it can show you distant locations, and the eye of foresight, which is going to obviously consume a lot of mana and be difficult to control, as it allows you to see the future. Now, as you can see in the anime, Rudeus is quite disorientated from the experience of gaining the eye. So having 2 of these would probably make him unable to walk at all, and being blindfolded would make him completely incapable of even basic tasks and completely ineligible for combat. So as you can see, at the moment at least, he's limited to 1. He also reveals some other key information, first off being that Ghislaine must have used a demon eye herself, which if you look back at her character design, she does wear a blindfold or an eye patch, which now Rudeus has just been informed he's going to have to do too. After agreeing with the Eyes of Foresight as a suggestion, Rudeus is now given them, and yes, it kind of proceeds as the anime did. It's pretty vicious, and the anime represented this well, so I'm just going to show this clip because this is basically what happened in my eyes. Now after this, Rudeus is informed of another important piece of information. Now his eyes work depending on the flow of his magic power and how he uses them. Now he should make the flow as thin as possible. So this isn't just about pouring a high amount of mana into it, but also control. Now this means he's going to have to train for a while and get used to them. He doesn't just immediately get a power up. Now it does kind of seem in the anime he just gets a power up at least as of episode 1, but it was definitely different in the light novel where he was informed this is going to be a pretty difficult task ahead of him. But yeah, that's the changes from the light novel to the anime. Again, in the anime, Rudeus just kind of goes into the alleyway after getting some food. He gives it to Kishirika. She gives him a demon eye. He goes on, he beats up some random dude, moves on. That's episode 1. We'll find out more about that incident and the fight afterwards, but that's episode 1. And in the light novel, as you saw, we get a lot more information. We get to hear about the different demon eyes. We get an explanation on them as well, which is pretty cool. And yeah, there's just a lot more details and information in it. So I just wanted to release this video so that you guys could get some more information and understand the Mushoku universe just a little bit more. It's going to be one hell of an anime either way, so let me know what you think about these videos. Do you want more cut content videos? Do you want me to explain more about the Mushoku universe and other anime content? I'm not really sure which direction to go in, but I will just do things that get my interest from time to time, unless you guys have some overwhelming demand for something specific. I just hope you're having a beautiful day for now. Take it easy, and peace.